Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck, and this is Somerset Farms, episode 11. 12? Episode 12. Pretty sure it's 12. Sorry about that. Anyway, just wanted to come back with you guys with an exciting announcement. I decided what I was going to do with the rest of March. So after I took some equipment back a little bit ago, I discovered another field that I thought I kind of liked. Excuse me. And so I bought it. But then I realized I didn't want to cultivate it because it's large. So I bought this cultivator too. So I have parked the planter over there, and I brought the 2 bags of seeds, the 2 partial bags of seeds over here to refill that planter with here in a minute. But I needed this giant weight that is currently on the back of our little case, because that is a big cultivator on our big tractor. So I'm going to go ahead and get turned around so that we can pick it up from the correct direction, like so. Drop that weight there, and then we'll go ahead and park this case over here to refill the planter when we get there. So I'm just going to park this under here with these. And as you can see, our money dropped from 950,000 down to 687 because we spent some cash on number one, this giant blue cultivator, and number two, on the field that I'm about to show you guys. But I wanted to show you from here. These are the 2 fields we planted at the end of episode 11 over here, 33 and 34. I want to kind of show you this field. It looks really far away on the map, but it's actually pretty close, because if you just drive this little road here that goes on the north side of our 2 fields over here, and kind of just go up this hill and follow this around, you can actually find your way to around these forests to this field right here, number 40, which is the new field we just acquired. So it is larger, it's a little bit hillier, but it is plowed and ready to be cultivated, and then we can plant something on it once we do some things to it. It does need some pH and some nitrogen, so we're going to have to mess around with those too, but that is to be expected. So looking on our map, here's our field 40. So when you look at it, I like it because it's got 114% yield bonus. You know how I like that yield bonus. I was looking at this little field 48 that we drove by last episode, but it's at negative, well, it's at 84%. So it's under 100% because it's mainly loamy sand. And then I was following these fields over. 46 is better. 43 is even better. And then field 40 over here is up at 114%. So this seemed like the best deal. When I realized the road to get there is actually connected to our other 2 fields and our field 36, I thought this is a pretty good direction to go. Also, it is 2.29 hectaacres, where our biggest field so far, 36, is only 2.06, and this one was only 1.83. And then obviously we've got these smaller ones that are half a hectare, half a hectare, half 0.43 of a hectare. So we have 3 small fields and now 3 big fields. So anyway, I thought it was a great deal, and it was harvested ready to go, but I wasn't going to cultivate that with our little 3-meter cultivator. So that's kind of how we got to where we are. It did cost me, where's that value? 170,000. So 170,000 plus 85 for the cultivator. Plus I also bought the field data for like another soil samples, was 4,200 to get our soil samples so we can get started on this. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. So we're going to jump in our large case Magnum, and we're not going to go up and down the hill. We're going to go across. I think that's the better way to go with something like this. And this one is like an 8.4 meter cultivator, so almost 9. But so it should feel like using that other planter did should help us get through this pretty fast. We got to back up the camera so we can see that. Whoops. Is that getting it? That does not seem to be cultivating. What did I miss? So it is plowed. This is a cultivator. What is happening? Trying to lower it. It's not lowering. Unfolding. There we go. I was selecting the weight, not the cultivator. Get you every time if you're on the wrong piece of equipment. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and just pull this around. That's turning up the soil. Yeah, look at that nice cultivated status. So we'll get it cultivated. We probably won't plant it here in March. Number one, there's rain on the way. And number two, we're going to need to fertilize this one. And then we can decide what we want to plant on it here between April, May, and June when we're waiting to get ready to start harvesting all of our canola. Obviously, I'd like to plant something that I can plant with our 9-meter cedar rather than with our little 3-meter one, because that would be less than ideal if we ended up getting a giant field and then planting it with a small piece of equipment. So chances are it will also be sunflowers, or maybe we'll wait and put canola on it after we harvest the canola from the other field. We'll just have to wait and see. Or maybe corn. We could do corn. We can plant corn, and we have a header that can do corn. And I've never really done corn. So this could be a first for that. So we'll get this going here. Just going to sort of square this one off after we do once around the edges, just to make sure we've got a nice clean fit on the headlands. And again, I probably should do the headlands last, but we're doing it in this order because this is kind of how I like to roll and getting these set up. So anyway, pretty excited about this. This is, I think, a great find of a field that was ready to go and has a great yield bonus. And we have a tractor that can do it. Very rarely, on a new farm do I have equipment that can handle a field like this right off. Like if we started with 2 or 3 tractors and small equipment, we wouldn't, like normally we'd have 2 tractors instead of 3, and we wouldn't have one that has 374 horsepower, which I think is what this one does. This cultivator only needed 320, but this is kind of a hilly field, so there was one that needed 375 that was like a half a meter wider than this, but I honestly didn't think that we'd be able to handle it going up the hill, which we're about to see here in a second when we make it back over to the west side of the field. So I thought this was probably a better bet, and this is about as much cultivator as you can pull with a tractor this size, but this still feels like we're making a lot of progress because it is quite a bit bigger than our other ones. So even though the field is 4 times larger than those little fields, our cultivator's 3 times wider. Roughly, it's probably like 2.8 times wider because it's 8.4, not 9 meters, but you know what I mean. I feel like this is going to be a pretty good deal for us. So here's the real test. This row we're going to cultivate entirely uphill. And so if we can do it uphill without slowing down too terribly much, we know that we've got the right horsepower for our tractor here. So let's get backed up, lower that down, and we'll get going. And yeah, we're 7, flirting with 8, kind of hanging on. I doubt we'll get to 9, but if we hold right around 8, that's pretty similar to what we were doing before. So we're not losing too terribly much power going uphill with this cultivator. So I think this is about right. But I love this field. It's on a little bit more of a hill than our other ones are. It's got this nice tree line, this windbreak up here, which is kind of cool. Oh, we're slowing down to 5 meters there, probably because of the turn. And maybe it does get a little steeper right here at the top. But we're going to go across the field anyway, so this shouldn't be an issue going forward. But I also just love that it's connected to this same little road that we've been using to get to our other fields. Because literally field 36, which is the first big field that we bought, is off of this road to the south. And then all of our other fields are off the road to the north, including that little yard that we've got set up where we parked the planter. So overall, pretty excited about that. Let's get this going here. And now we'll kind of just figure out a good angle for down and back. And it'll slowly smooth out as we go. So what is that, 79.80? I think I'm just going to stay here and pull all the way over to here to get rid of that little dog leg on the end. And this 43 and 46 are not too bad either, so if we decide we like these bigger fields, we might eventually get those, but they had already been planted. And they weren't, I'm not quite ready to be buying the fields with the crops on them, because then we can't do all the field preparation that we want to do. So this will allow us to not have to really mess with all that. So we'll start with this one, and again, we probably didn't need another field, but seemed like a good deal, and I've got this big tractor, and I really like that planter, so I wanted to see what else we could do with our little bit larger equipment on here as well. So I don't know, tell me in the comments if you think I made a grave error, but we had the money, so I thought that this would be worth it. We'll see what I feel when we comes to harvest time, because now we've got 6 fields and a tiny little harvester, so that might be an issue, but we don't have to worry about that today. Just trying to get this done. So 258. So that would make this, what, 78 on the way back? Yeah, we gotta get moved over a little bit and straighten this out. So yeah, like 82. I think it's similar to what we're doing over here. Yeah, that's 80, 80 and a half, 81, something like that. We're getting a nice good coverage and getting this cleaned up. So again, I think this is going to be a great way for our farm to get moving forward on year 2 by having a nice big field to work. Looks like I missed just a little bit in here. So we're going to come up here and just drop this real quick and smooth that out. I think our planter just was able to plant right into the soil without cultivating last time. So maybe it doesn't really matter if we miss little spots like that, but I want a nice clean cultivation for our stats anyway. So if I've got a spot that's like that, I don't want to risk it. I'm not 100% sure that our planter will direct drill into that without cultivating. I know our other planter wouldn't, so. And 262. This will be pretty straight. Let me just get, yeah, look at that. So we're actually going straight to, is that, it's a seed bed. So no cultivating, we're going straight to a seed bed here. So it's a little bit smoother than a cultivated. That's interesting. But overall, pretty satisfied with how that's coming together. But we should be able to plant into a seed bed as well, so nothing to really worry about there. Now let's see. Yeah, that's lined up pretty good. And it's taking a little while, but it's not taking too long. Now that we've got it squared off and we're just going up and down, this should go pretty fast. So I wonder if I should maybe... I'm not square enough to let a worker start on this yet. Maybe if I go the other direction, it would be a little bit more squared. I was wondering if I could put a worker on this and then go grab whatever we need to start spreading either some fertilizer up here or to start spreading some lime. What is this angle? Oh, 336. That's terrible. Let me just see what the worker does. If I try to put a worker on 336. $335. Can you do it? You can. 337, 336. All right, we got a worker going. We have hired Fred back. Fred's doing a good job making a seed bed on our field. He found the angle. We'll see how he turns around. But while he's doing that, let's take a look at this. So, soil information, pH. Definitely going to need some nitrogen, so some fertilizer. pH, it's doing all right, but we could probably use some. So let's take a look at that. So I just want to see how Fred turns around. Missed a tiny little bit there in the end, but that's probably my fault, not his. Let's see if he gets a nice good line going back up the field. If he does, I think it's totally worth letting him finish this, and we can go get some lime to spread on this field. You guys got to see me use the new cultivator on the new field. Plenty. Yeah, Fred's doing a good job. So let's go back to here. Actually, do we own a lime spreader? We own a fertilizer spreader, but nothing for lime. Well, I think fertilizer is what we need to start with anyway. What does our fertilizer spreader need? 42 meters, needs virtually no horsepower. Yeah. I think we can run that with this small case and not even need to get that McCormick unhitched from our trailer. Seems like a good deal. So let's go run back to the farm. We'll just leave the arms on here. Go pick up our fertilizer spreader, see how much fertilizer we have in it, and see if we need to go grab any down from the store. So yeah, this is the little road we're taking, and here's our field 36. That's doing really good with the canola. So, and that's, if you take that road down there to the right, that actually heads pretty straight to the store, but we're going to go need to check our fertilizer first anyway. And I'm wondering, do we have a flatbed or do we need to get one? Maybe we need to grab a couple pallets of fertilizer and drop them on here. This road, man, the traffic is so fast right here. And it just keeps coming. Okay. I've gotten into a lot of would-be wrecks right here on this little road. Just doing this little bit between there and my farm. So yeah, this is just a really interesting playthrough for me, because normally I try to get all of my fields around each other and get a little section of the map that would be mine and kind of work off of that. But this one I'm really messing around with the precision farming and just chasing the best yields that I can possibly get wherever I can find them. And it is interesting that there's this strip of loamy sand, loamy Not sandy loam. What is it? Loamy sand, I think, is the fields we've been messing with here. Yeah, that's right. We ran out of fertilizer on field 18. So only half of that. So yeah, let me yeah, so it's this sandy loam and loam strip that's coming across here that kind of comes down here, and we got quite a bit of loam in these two and loam in this one. So there's a strip of kind of loam that's doing a good job across the middle of the map here. So this is how our fields kind of line up. Interesting. I wouldn't have predicted it that way, but I'm digging it. So let's go ahead and get down to the shop, and we can put quite a bit of fertilizer in here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I think we can just load it up and take it over to the field. I don't think we need to buy pallets and haul them over there or anything like that just yet. Well, you know what we could do? Yeah, why don't we just actually put a fertilizer unit, like a dispensary, on our little plot of land that's over here. Our little kind of parking area. It's not quite a farmyard. I mean, it's on the verge of it, but it's not quite as built out as this other farmyard where we keep all of our equipment. But we could, have a delivery service drop us off bags of fertilizer in the field. They do that, and that would save us a lot of trips back and forth, I'm sure, between the store and all that. So yeah, like we've got this area here. We've already got seeds there. We've already got places to park. I'm wondering if we can just put one right over here. Let me back up just a little bit and see if we could get something in here. So construction. Let me go. We're not looking for a shed. We're looking for container. Yeah, placeable. So this one, water station. No, thanks to this facility, you can buy fertilizer, seeds, and lime without leaving the economy for a small fee. This is the one. That's feed. This one is liquid fertilizer, weed remedy. Yeah, so it'd be this one. Seed fertilizer and lime station. So yeah, I like the idea of parking it kind of right here. Change that concrete a little bit, but that's all right. So if we just open this up, we should be able to back right up to it and fill this up. Yep, we can back right up to it and buy our fertilizer right here. That's a pretty good deal because it's right next to all of our fields. And actually I want to check these fields 33 and 34, see if they need any more fertilizer, because I can't remember if we fertilized them or not between plowing. So let's go ahead, and since we've got this all taken up or all hooked up, we can actually pull right onto the field and we get a pretty good sense of where we're at. And this says pH bad, nitrogen bad. It looks pretty good on the map though. This is nitrogen good. The only one that really needs nitrogen is this end of 18 and all of field 40. Well, I suppose we've got it. Why don't we run over to 18 real quick. while we're waiting for that cultivator to be done. No, changed my mind. We're going to park at 18 anyway, so we can just do 18 on our way back. This is pretty heavy with this all loaded in the back like this. So turning is a little interesting, but that's okay. So yeah, and going up this hill, we're definitely losing some speed loaded down with fertilizer. We need a weight or something on the front here to keep the front tires down, but once we start spreading it, it'll be fine. I think we did have a weight last time, but I've got the front loader on this time, so that's kind of messing things up a little bit. So let's see. He is making good progress, but if we do a strip across the top and then turn, run kind of north-south along this edge of field 40, we should be just fine. And we can get a little bit wider, it looks like. Yeah, this might be ready to plant. We might just do sunflowers back here, since that's what we can plant in March and in April. So we would have everything that we need ready already. And then we would just have a lot of sunflowers to get that factory up and running, but that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know, if you want to see me plant something different, let me know in the comments below. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to get planting this episode. We're just going to get the cultivating done and get this fertilizer spread so the nitrogen levels are better. And I think at this point, it's not even worth buying a lime spreader to spread lime on this because it's close. And again, that's that precision farming you're seeing where it stopped the spread and then it started it again. So we're going to see how much we lose going uphill here. And that might be just a little bit wider than we can manage. Nope, it seems to be all right. Yeah, this 42-foot spreader is amazing. Look at how far we can reach. Like, this is a big field, but we're not going to need to go over this too many times to get what we need done. And again, I'm going to have to probably just park this up here for a second. We're going to stop that spread. We're going to just turn this off in the field. Switch back to this one and let this worker go, because there's no point in me spreading that fertilizer until we've got the rest of this cultivated. So I'm going to let Fred go home for the day. We'll finish this off. First cultivating, then fertilizing, and then that will probably do it for this episode, because I know we're running up on the 30 minutes already. So we'll get this down and moving, although we're real close. I might just cultivate it and then finish fertilizing on my own, or I'll probably just that off camera, because you guys have seen what we're doing here. We're getting field 40 ready to go so we can plant it, but it is going to rain here at some point in time in March, and we're going to want to get out of the way of that if we can. So that is roughly my plan, but appreciate you guys checking out the episode and keeping up with me on this. I'm having fun with this farm, doing things just a little bit different than I've kind of done in some of the other series that I've done. Typically, I do... Oh, I gotta back up, get that. Sorry. Typically, I do wheat and barley. Obviously, I did a lot of that on the Erlengrot series with the flour mill. And that's the kind of production facility I do. I almost always do chickens with eggs. But this time we decided not to. And so we sold that sorghum in December or January, I think it was, when we got the best price. So we're not doing livestock. We're not doing the normal crops that you would do for a flour mill, and instead we're kind of just messing around with some crops I haven't done that much with on some interesting looking fields, some big, some small, and just playing around with the equipment that we have. So I think that's the key to this game. You know, people have always asked me, how can you play that much farm sim? Don't you get bored? And, you know, if you're doing the same thing, like if I was doing another wheat field, barley field, flour mill kind of thing, yeah, I would get bored, to be honest. Because I kind of did that on Erlengrot, and I do intend to play that a little bit more, and I've done that on a couple other maps as well in various stages, but I think what keeps this game interesting for me is trying out different equipment or different crops in different combinations. And where, you know, I'm working with the cattle on Riverview, I don't really want to do that here, and I've done so much grass care because not only do I have to do the grass care on Riverview to keep the cows fed, which is fine, but I did a ton of grass care just for selling silage bales up on the Erlengrot series, which also worked out great. It was by far our best moneymaker there. But because of that, I'm kind of sick of. I just need a break from mowing and baling and mowing and baling and doing all that. So this is a great alternative just to get to use some of the other equipment, to use some case tractors, which I haven't used very much on any of my fields so far. So we're going to just park this here and then get back into this one. So we're using some different tractors. Now, I know the McCormick is the same one I had on Erlengrot. I didn't choose it. It was just the one that was given to us. So you take what you can get. But that's why I'm trying to do more with the case tractors than I am with that McCormick. Just making that my hauling wagon, basically, for the tipper and for probably lime if we're spreading lime in a little bit, or for anything that's kind of middleweight. But I'm trying to use the case tractors a little bit more on this series just because I have them, and I haven't used very many case tractors so far on my channel. So we're just trying out a little bit of different equipment, trying out a little bit of different crops, trying out precision farming and seeing kind of how that works, because I did play around with it on the Calmsden series, but that series I didn't start with it, so I didn't really get to see the full effects of being able to track my yield and how much we're spending on everything, as I'm going to be able to do on this series. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything, and it certainly helps me out in getting more visibility in the YouTube algorithms. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you want updates every time I put up a new episode, you can go ahead and ring that bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.